In today's video, I want to talk about, is the film gear, expensive film gear, making you a better filmmaker? The short answer is no. However, it's a little bit more complicated than that. There's a little threshold that exists within the gear. You cannot be a professional filmmaker using crappy DSLRs, crappy lenses, and pretty much sub-mediocre gear. However, if you're starting out, and if you're serious about your craft, essentially you're going to be purchasing gear based on your skill knowledge. Now, I know a lot of filmmakers that have a very poor skill. They have no clue what they're doing. They don't even know how to expose properly. They constantly go and keep chasing the new gear. And basically it becomes sort of a weird routine because the gear essentially takes control over you as a creative. You as a creative supposed to be in control of your gear. You can go ahead and make a movie with an iPhone, and it's been proven by many people. You can go ahead and still shoot an amazing movie with T2i. There's videos online that look stunning, even though that camera is like 10 years old. Gear essentially out there to help you as a creative to tell the story. You're not supposed to be chasing gear in hopes thinking that this gimbal, this lens, this camera, all of a sudden overnight, once you purchase it, you're going to wake up being a better filmmaker. That's simply not true. It's an excuse for many people to be lazy and not professional towards so-called dreams, what they think they are. Because essentially, when you're becoming more and more skilled, more and more professional, natively you're gonna go and buy a better equipment. It's just a natural course of things. Simply, if you don't know what you're doing, getting right now, let's say, Arri Alexa, even with the best lenses in the world, you're still gonna have the very same quality of your work. Your quality is not about the camera. Camera helps you. Camera, obviously, yes, it gives a lot of quality. Camera gives a lot of dynamic range. It helps to tell the story. All the gear you have, the professional gear obviously is the next step above. $100,000 camera setup, not going to make you a better filmmaker. Before jumping into spending money in the gear, you need to understand one thing. You need to develop your craft. You need to understand what is out there that you're looking for. What kind of style you're shooting. Because every lens, every camera, every piece of sound equipment, every software has its own strong part and the weak part. And you cannot just go out there and basically blame and say, oh, I don't have the gear, that's why I'm not good enough filmmaker. That's all nonsense. There's a lot of people out there have gimbals, there's a lot of people out there have Steadicams. Do they actually produce any movies? No. It's becoming more like a collector's hobby where you continue to purchase more and more things thinking that, hey, you're going to wake up and all of a sudden the skill going to come to you. The things don't work that way. In order for you to actually become a better filmmaker, you need to go out there, go outside and shoot something. Then you come home, you review your footage or pictures or whatever it may be on the computer. You're being honest with yourself and you decide, is this piece that I just shot, is it good enough or it still sucks? And finally, when you're going to learn to be honest with yourself and to kind of put yourself on a scale where you're at the moment, then you can start thinking if you're out there on a level, then you can go ahead and upgrade the camera. Now, I also don't want to discourage you from buying a new gear. Obviously, new gear, better gear. That's, we don't have to discuss this topic. I think it's pretty self-explained. Don't just think that new piece of camera, new piece of lens, all of a sudden going to change your game, because it's not going to change your game. For example, when I was starting out, I went and I bought a very good camera right away. And I had no idea what I was doing. And little by little, I was learning. I was kind of comparing myself to other filmmakers, what kind of mistakes I'm doing. The same thing I can say about photography. The same thing I can say about color grading. Just having expensive lens or expensive camera not really giving you any advantage over your competition. Because essentially what you're going to understand, once your quality becoming to a certain level, the gear at that point no longer relevant. And this is ultimate truth. If you made the name to yourself, whether you're a photographer, whether you're a filmmaker, if people looking at your work and they appreciate what you do, nobody gonna come up to you and say, hey, you need a better camera, or you need, new piece of equipment. Because you already set the quality. And when you set the quality, when you have a portfolio that you can show people, camera no longer matters. If you're some high-end, cinematographer that shoots amazing music videos for celebrities, obviously you're going to be using some kind of professional camera. It may not be Alexa, it may not be Red, but it's going to be camera within those kind of boundaries. You're not going to be obviously shooting those music videos with an iPhone, hopefully. Don't rush out there and don't waste all your money thinking that you're going to buy it and it's going to change how you work and it's going to all of a sudden going to bring you clients, because it's not. So the first thing you need to do is craft your skill. And once your skill is out there, everything else is going to come in.